Oh, can you put those, I'll just put the jacket here.
Here, do you want these?
That's too late. Did you start it?
Yeah, it's
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Can you turn on the lights, please?
We're running late.
Just a slight bit the other way.
Sorry.
Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Sudevi, can you also provide me a blanket or chadar for behind me?
Yes.
Thank you. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha. It's becoming a well-used book. Thank you. Starting with Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Padakamana. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamshcha Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasam Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Jagataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyano Keshavo Niti Namine Atimatyacharitrayo Swashritanam Chapaline Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanto Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Dene Daitaya Kripabhare Krishna Sambandha Vijnana दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणि श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धापसिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बुधे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगपरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नमो गौरध्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दं मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोज राधामदनमोहन दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीरगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्तत्ततस्थितः हर्षं वेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रीस्तु नः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहागावाग्निर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं खलु नस्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Dandava Pranam Vaishnavas. Sudevi, can you get me the remote? The air is blowing directly on me. It's making me choke.
Yeah, just so you know, this is constantly turning.
Oh.
Even though it's going, it's just constant. Is that a problem?
Yeah, 1 second.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas.
That shouldn't be happening.
Please forgive me. We've been running around and really busy, and I won't be able to join tonight. But I'll be listening. Ojiva Pavana Prabhu already. Okay.
Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru, page 29 in the songbook. If you do not have the songbook, then we are very fortunate to have among us Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who posts the bhajans along with their translations and beautiful commentaries of our acharyas in the comments section of the thread. So if you would like to follow along with the words and also with meaning, then just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana. There it says Jiva Pavana, and there you will find what your heart is searching for. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavad. Sorry. Essentials. So, Jai Jai Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru, page 29. Jayo Jayo Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru, Jayo Jayo Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru, Adbhuta Jako Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Pan Guru Varga ki jai, Sri Guru Parampara ki jai. As I was singing Jai Gurudeva, then Jai Prabhupada, then Jai Guru Parampara, I was reflecting on the fact that there are so many manifestations of Guru in this world. According to the necessity of the individual jiva, Krishna manifests accordingly. He says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamamu payantite. I will give them the understanding by which they can come to me. And sometimes we see that for one person, one guru or one particular kind of personality is what is necessary to attract their hearts away from the absorption in the material world and to become attracted towards serving Krishna. And maybe there are many such personalities, but one might have more attractive ability than another for any individual. Our Srila Prabhupada spoke in 1936, I believe, on the appearance or disappearance of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, in Mumbai, Bombay, to his godbrothers. He was speaking about Guru Tattva, the essence or the foundational principles of what Guru is. And he spoke that Guru is one. The concept of Guru, or the spiritual master, that is one thing. Guru is one who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. And according to that, then there does not arise any discrimination in essence between the principal Guru. For one person, they may not have the same exact attraction to my Guru that I have. And I might not have the same exact attraction to their Guru that they have. It does not mean that that person is not manifesting Guru to them, or that my Guru is not manifesting Guru to me. The concept is very, very deep and very broad as well. And there are, you can say, different personalities, even in different levels, who manifest this Gurutva. On the highest principle, Guru is the personality who can bring one from the darkness to the light, who has no material attraction whatsoever, or attraction to the material world, who is 100%, 24 hours engaged in remembering, in glorifying, in serving the lotus feet of Krishna. And they have nothing to take and only everything to give. They have no desire for anything from us. They only want to help us. And they are the embodiment of the compassion, the mercy of Krishna. So when I say Jai Gurudev, I'm saying Jai Gurudev for my Gurudev, and also for all of those personalities who embody Shri Guru for each individual, so that we can remember our own Gurudevs. When I say Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada means A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It also means Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada, Gopal Bhatta Goswami Prabhupada, and any other personality who is qualified to hold that title. Prabhupada means who's carrying the message, the essence of Prabhu to this world, and at whose feet all other Prabhus sit. And then Guru Parampara. This is also referring to all Gurus in our Parampara. Of course, we have our individual, personal connection. It's necessary, absolutely. Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. And sometimes people will immaturely jump to the idea, but I'm following Samasti Guru, so I don't need an individual instructor. For someone who's on a very high level, they can accept that. But what happens when your one instructor is contradicting the other one? Then there's a problem. Therefore, it is essential that one takes shelter of a particular personality and under their particular guidance learns from them and maintains conviction, nishtha, in that personality. And all others who are also acting in the role of guru will support and nourish our development of relationship and conviction in the lotus feet of our Gurudev. Mind you, that guru should embody all of the qualities mentioned in scripture of what guru is. Not that just anyone randomly selects, oh yeah, he looks nice. He has to be a certain age, he has to have a certain length of beard, and it has to be a certain color, and his nationality has to be of a certain type, and his skin has to be a certain color, and his cloth has to be a certain color. Then we're applying all kinds of mundane external conditions upon what we think guru should be. But if we're sincere, if we are honest, and we pray sincerely, desperately from the core of our heart to Krishna, please be merciful to me, please help me. He may manifest in so many different ways. For myself, I pray, may you be merciful to me that I may be able to recognize this personality, however, whenever, wherever they may appear. That I might be able to recognize. Otherwise, on my own, through my material senses, with my material expectations, I might attract something else. Instead of guru, maybe something, a contrivance of my own mind, my own imagination, and I will put a stamp on that personality saying, this is guru. But what is their nature? How do they talk? How do they walk? What is their activity? What are they representing? What is their goal? What are they giving to us? What are they awakening within us? So yes, there is guru in everything. Everything has a lesson to give us, and we can take from all of those lessons. Every interaction, everything in nature, we can actually derive some essential teaching from that. And Srimad Bhagavatam gives this example. 24 gurus it mentions out of the unlimited possibilities, but it gives us examples. And when one is quite advanced, they will see that my guru, Sri Guru, is situated within the heart of every living entity. Because really, guru is a manifestation of Paramatma. Because the conditioned soul cannot directly perceive Paramatma in the heart, then out of causeless mercy, he manifests externally to the external senses of the jiva in the form of Diksha and Shiksha gurus. And so for us, the fact that we have somehow connected with Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, we should understand that this is the active mercy of the Lord. As Paramatma in the heart, generally he's in a passive state, only watching, witnessing. But we should know very firmly that mercy has come into my life because he has stepped out of my heart, taken a form, and interacted with me in a way where he's not just taking a passive role, but is actually taking an active role and helping to bring me to my perfection in loving relationship with Krishna. So that's why I sing Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Guru Parampara, so that we can understand that whoever is that qualified personality, we're offering our pranam to them. And if we don't have that in our life, whether we had before or whether we have not received yet, still we always require to have the guiding grace of the spiritual guide, the spiritual master, the master of the path by which the spirit can connect with the Supreme Spirit. That's a spiritual master, someone who's mastered that path. Not just anyone. Anyone can claim to be that, but who's really qualified? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, out of thousands and thousands, maybe one will even have attraction to him. Out of thousands of those, right? He says, hardly one will actually know me in truth. Such a great soul is very rare. He says, hardly one will know me in truth. So if we're sincere, we will search for, seek, and pray for that kind of association of that person who knows Krishna in truth, who can awaken that kind of attraction in our heart to also know Krishna in truth, to love him and to serve him. I can't see any comments, so I don't know if any comments are there. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakur, page 40. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura, Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura, Sambandha Janiya Bhajite Bhajite, Sambandha Janiya Bhajite Bhajite, Abhimano Haduro, Abhimano Haduro, Sambandha Janiya Bhajite Bhajite, Abhimano Haduro. Hoi Bo Nirayo আপনে জানিব গুরু অভিমানো ত্যাজি তোমার কিঙ্কর আপনে জানিব গুরু অভিমানো ত্যাজি তোমার উচ্ছিষ্ট পদ ঝরে তোমার উচ্ছিষ্ট পদ ঝরে সদা নিষ্কপটে ভজি সদা নিষ্কপটে ভজি তোমার উচ্ছিষ্ট পদ ঝরে সদা নিষ্কপটে ভজি সদা নিষ্কপটে ভজি ও কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব নিজে শ্রেষ্ঠ জানি উচ্ছিষ্টাদি দানি তবে অভিমানো মারো নিজে শ্রেষ্ঠ জানি উচ্ছিষ্টাদি দানি তবে অভিমানো মারো তাই শিষ্য তব থাকিয়া সর্বদা তাই শিষ্য তব থাকিয়া সর্বদা না লইব পূজ কারো না লইব পূজা কারো তাই শিষ্য তব থাকিয়া সর্বদা না লইব পূজা কারো না লইব পূজা কারো কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব হইলে কীর্তনে অধিকার দিবে তুমি অমানিমানদ হইলে কীর্তনে অধিকার দিবে তুমি তোমার চরণে নিষ্কপটে আমি তোমার চরণে নিষ্কপটে আমি কাঁদিয়া লুটিব ভূমি কাঁদিয়া লুটিব ভূমি তোমার চরণে নিষ্কপটে আমি কাঁদিয়া লুটিব ভূমি কাঁদিয়া লুটিব ভূমি কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, same more, Sampada, page 50. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, se mora sampada, se mora bhajana puja. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, se mora sampada, se mora bhajana puja. Se mora pranodhana, se mora yabharana, se mora pranodhana, se mora yabharana, se mora jivaner jivan, se mora jivaner jivan, se mora rasanidhi, se mora vancha siddhi, se mora rasanidhi, se mora vancha siddhi, se mora vedera dharam, se mora vedera dharam, se vrata, se tapa, se mora mantra japa, se vrata, se tapa, se mora mantra japa, se mora dharma parama. Hari Bole Moder Gora Elo. Page 170. Hari Bole Moder Gora Elo. 170 in the songbook. If you do not have the songbook, scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajan. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hari bole mode Gaur elo Hari bole mode Gaur elo Elo re Gauranga Cham Preme elo thelo Elo re Gauranga Cham Preme elo thelo Nitai Advaita Sange Godume Pashilo Nitai Advaita Sange Godume Pashilo Hari bole mode Gaur elo Hari bole mode Gaur elo Sankirtana Rasamete Namo Vilailo Sankirtana Rasamete Namo Vilailo Namer hate eshe preme Jagat bhashailo Namer hate eshe preme Jagat bhashailo Hari bole mode Gaur elo Hari bole mode Gaur elo Goduma Vashiro Raj Dukha dure gelo Goduma Vashiro Raj Dukha dure gelo Bhakta Vrinda Sange সঙ্গে আসি হাত জাগাইল হরি বলে
नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय।
Bol Hari Bol, page 174. One second. Just have to check this. As I thought, Bhairavi. 174. Bol Hari Bol. Mana Bol Hari. Bol Hari. Hari Hari Bol. Bol Hari Bol Hari. Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Excuse me. Hmm? No. Vande Girivara Dhara Padakamalam, page 346. I need water. I already have tea with here. Three 46 Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam by Sri Govinda Das. Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam. 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 Kamalakarakam Lanchitamalam. Kamalakarakam Lanchitamalam. Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam. Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam. Vajavajram Kusha Pankajaparitam. Vajavajram Kusha Pankajaparitam. Rajavanika Kucha Kunkumalalitam. Rajavanika Kucha Kunkumalalitam. Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam. Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam. Manjulamani Puraramaniam. Manjulamani Puraramaniam. Achapala Pura Manikamaniam. Achapala Pura Manikamaniam. Vande Girivara Dhara Pada Kamalam. Vande Girivara Dhara
Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Balitam, page 342 in our songbook, or whatever Jiva Pavan Prabhu posts in the comment section of the thread. Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Balitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupachaitam Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Balitam Pankajamiva Shrimati Radharani ki jai. Now we will sing Sri Damodarasṭakam. Guess which page number? Even Sudevi can guess. Because I don't let you speak out loudly. 290, Sri Damodarasṭakam. It's so easy, even Sudevi can get it. No, it's because she knows too much, so I can't let her take all of the good answers. All those burpees and samosas aren't good for her. And if she gives them to me, it's not too good for me either. Not too much. So, are we doing the and Shri Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shalakram Shila ki jai, Laddu Gopal ki jai, Chotta Chotta Laddu Gopal ki jai. Sada me manasya astha Shri Damodarasṭakam ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Guru Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalhi Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashto Darshata Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashto Darshata Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. So we are continuing with Sri Damodarasṭakam. We are still in verse 4, the commentary of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. Sri Damodarasṭakam is a beautiful prayer manifested from the heart of Sri Satyavrat Muni, placed in Padma Purana by Sri Ved Vyas, commented on within this transcendental literature by Sri Sanatana Goswami Pad, followed by the translation and commentary of our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, followed by the commentary of our Srila Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. This is a multi-layered treasure, full of so much beautiful tattva gyan, leading toward rasa, bringing us closer and closer to the desire to want to love spontaneously Krishna in Vrindavan. So before entering into this transcendental treasure, we will pray to those personalities that I just mentioned in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairaga Juga Bhaktira Samprayatnayat Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripambadiryaparadu Kuduki Sanatanastam Prabhu Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. I know I've said it before, but a single particle is enough. Sometimes we think, why only a particle? Why not everything? A particle is enough. Mahaprabhu gave one drop of the ocean of Bhakti Rasa to Rupa Goswami. One drop. And from that he gave so much. Everything that we need to be able to move toward perfection. And we pray to Sri Gurudev. Gurudev, Kripa Bindudiya, give me just one drop of mercy. Shraddha Bindudiya, give me just one drop of Shraddha. Bindu. One drop is sufficient. One particle of the fragrance emanating from the words, from the lotus mouth of Sri Guru. This is sufficient to actually awaken within the heart the desire to serve Krishna. If we accept even that much, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj said, like incense from the other room, just one smell, even that much, your life will be successful. So, how to actually receive that one smell? This also manifests by the mercy of the pure Vaishnava. They give the power and they give the capacity. By their presence, although it is inherent within our nature on our own, We can never extract ourselves or wake ourselves up from Maya. We are sleeping in the lap of the witch. Jeev jago, Gora Chandra bole, Kotha nidra jao Maya, Pishachira kole. Mahaprabhu is saying, wake up, sleeping soul. Kotha nidra, nidra means sleeping. Jao Maya, Pishachira kole. Pishachira means witch. We're sleeping on the lap of this witch, which is completely bewildering us, bewildering our minds. By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and those who are the mouthpieces of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Sri Rupa Goswami Pad, like all of our Goswamis, like all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, they are distributing or giving to this world what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give. They are preaching and sharing Gaura Vani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Vani Pracharine. If anyone knows the Sanskrit, the first word to the verse which our Srila Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj would always refer to when he would say these words, Gauravani. He wanted all of his disciples to understand and to know and to be able to refer to this particular verse when he would mention this term, Gauravani. If anyone can give the first line or the whole verse or the first word of that verse, you get a whole tray of Prabhupada cookies. A whole tray of Prabhupada cookies. Yes, I still remember the flavor. It's one of those things linked to memory. Yes. Prabhupada.
Buttery and sweet.
You remember also Sudevi? Buttery and sweet and soft and very, very tasty. So, whoever can, post that. Come on, whole tray of Prabhupada cookies. Very good. Keshava Priya Didi ki jai. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayastad Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kajid Upasana Brajavidu Vargena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amanam Prema Pumarto Mohan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradaro Naparaha. This is the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and there is nothing beyond it. Srila Gurudev always gave credit to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur for manifesting this prayer. Some people claim that it does not come from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, even some who are in name the disciples of Srila Gurudev. But we should understand that even if anyone else wrote it down, whose heart did it manifest within? Srila Gurudev gives credit to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so we should give credit where credit is due. So, very good. Keshava Priya Didi ki jai. So what is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That there is nothing beyond. The supreme, topmost, worshipful form or aspect of Godhead. Aradhyo Bhagavan. Who is that? Rajesh Tanayas. That is the son of the king of Braj. But Tanay means the dearmost. So sometimes it means the child of, but also the dearmost. So, Brajesh Tanay. Also, Srila Gurudev has spoken. Who is Brajesh?
Kishori, can you ask Jiva Pavana Prabhu to put the full shloka?
Jiva Devaki's already asked that. Can someone write this out, please? You can post it. So whenever Srila Gurudev heard this term or would speak on this term, Gauravani, what is that? You see this in our Srila Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine. In the Pranam Mantra of his Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine. So he is the form of, or the embodiment of this Gauravani. And our Srila Prabhupada is presenting what his Guru is giving. So this form of his Guru, the embodiment of his Guru Dev, he is preaching this. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine. So our Srila Prabhupada is preaching what? Bhakti Siddhanta to the whole world.
Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. So, the supreme topmost worshipful form of the Lord is Brajesha Tanai, the son of Nanda Maharaj Krishna in Vrindavan. But Brajesh also has another meaning. I don't know if you remember this. Who is the Isha, or the Lord, the Master, the controller of Vrindavan? Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Vrindavaneshwari is also Brajesh. We know that more than Vatsalya Prem, more than Vatsalya Prem means parental love and affection, there is Madhurya Ras. So Nanda Baba's Krishna, the gopis will be referring to Krishna like this, but we understand what their implication is. And so from the perspective, when we back up a little bit, then we can see actually this highest manifestation, Brajesha Tanai, means the dearmost of Srimati Radhika, Radha Kanta. That Krishna is the topmost. And because their pastimes are manifesting in Vrindavan, only Vrindavan, the original Krishna, the original Srimati Radhika, they never stepped one footstep outside of Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja pagamekam nagachati. They never stepped one footstep outside of Vrindavan. This is the place of their deep, innermost, internal pastimes. So within Vrindavan, then there's Govardhan. Within Govardhan is Radhakund. But Tadhama Vrindavanam, because all of these most beautiful pastimes happen in Vrindavan. And then reaffirming even what happens in Vrindavan. In this section of Vrindavan, this is a very special section of Vrindavan. Vamshivat is here, Shringarvat is here. All of those beautiful pastime places of Krishna with Srimati Radhika, Nidhuvan, Sevakunj, everything is right here. Where Krishna was playing his flute in the middle of the night, far away from the eyes of Vatsalya Prem, far away. But all the gopis came running to this place, Vamshiva, just there. Krishna sitting just next door in Imlitala. It wasn't next door, but he was sitting underneath that tamarind tree. At that time, fully absorbed, obsessed with Srimati Radhika, in Srimati Radhika. Radha Chinta Niveshana, always thinking of her. Yasya Kanti Vilokita Shri Krishna Charanam Mande Radha Alingita Vigraham. So absorbed in her, he was fully embraced, fully encapsulated by her, by that deep absorption. And therefore, Yasya Kanti, his complexion changed to her complexion. Yasya Kanti Vilokita Shri Krishna Charanam Mande. I offer my pranam to the lotus feet of that Krishna who is completely controlled by Srimati Radhika. Our Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj is very, very deep. So another name for that Krishna who is completely controlled by Srimati Radhika, so much so that his complexion changes from darkish to golden, is Vinod Bihari. And this we have here, Radha Vinod Bihari. And from that manifested Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari, who is also Krishna, who is tasting the moods of Srimati Radhika's love and affection for Krishna. So, this next line says, Ramyaka Chidupasana Vrajavadu Vargeneya Kalpita. The topmost upasana, or method of loving service to Krishna, by which Krishna is completely controlled and incapable of repaying that love and affection. That is the affection or the love that the young Brajabadhus, we were just speaking about that yesterday. The Brajabadhu means the wives of the Gopas, these gopis, because of their complete selfless surrender, their selfless love, giving up everything for Krishna's happiness, his pleasure, his benefit, his sake, favorable to him, without any expectation for anything in return, and willing to risk everything for Krishna. Their method of service or worship of Krishna is considered the highest. What is the proof of this?
Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is telling this, that this is also the spotless evidence, Pramanam Amalam. Amala means completely pure evidence, telling these truths. And what is the highest goal, the highest attainment? Prema Umarto Mohan. Prem, divine, transcendental love and affection for Krishna in the wake of the Brajavasis. But in the context of this shlok, of this verse, we should understand that it is in the wake of the moods of the gopis. Love and affection for Krishna. This kind of Krishna prem. Prema Pumarto Mahan. It is the greatest, highest achievement. Prem, divine love and affection for Krishna. So our Srila Gurudev would give us this verse in explanation of this Gauravani. These two words, Gauravani. He didn't want us to tell any general abstract meaning. He wanted us to come straight to the point, quote this verse, which is the essence of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to tell us. And if you want to expand that verse a little bit, then you will go to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Dashmula Tattva, the 10 essential principles or root principles of the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, starting with Amnaya Praha. So we won't go deep into that now, but it's just essential that we should know what our Srila Gurudev wanted us to understand when this term Gauravani came up. It's not just the general teachings or the general preaching. There's general teachings and general preaching, and then there is the deeper inner conceptions. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear? What was his main purpose for appearing? Was it to give Harinam Sankirtan? Is that his main purpose for appearing? That's a yes or no question. Whoever can answer this definitely gets a Rasmalai. Was it to even awaken Krishna Prem in everyone? Is that his primary reason for appearing in this world? That's also a yes or no question. Was it the call of Advaita Acharya? Is that a primary reason? Or was it to taste the moods of Srimati Radhika's love and affection for Krishna? Is that the primary reason? Yes or no? Ah, very good, Haripriya Didi, very good, Devaki. Now I don't know what you're saying yes or no to, so I'm just going to let it go there, but Rasmalai all around. Sridhadhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishovaneva. The primary reason for Krishna's appearing as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to taste the moods of Srimati Radhika's love and affection for Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita very clearly tells that this is the primary reason. His own internal reason, his own purpose. That's the primary. So the primary is that. And it's divided into 3 aspects of her love and her experience. How great is her love? What she tastes upon receiving his love and affection, and the happiness she experiences upon loving him. This is the primary. Then there's a secondary primary. Does anyone know what the secondary, within the primary, there's 1 and 2. What is the secondary primary reason for Krishna's appearance in this world as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Yes, Sudevi. I wonder if anyone else heard that.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I'll stay out of it.
No. So, there's a trick to remembering these. It took me some time, but there is a trick. When it has to do with Krishna and his own internal purpose, means for himself or of himself, then it is considered primary. When it has to do with others, means the jivas, then that is called secondary. So that is a natural byproduct or a secondary side effect of his own internal purpose, his own experience. So the external would be twofold. the secondary. What is that? Krishna prema pradayate. To give Krishna prem, to awaken spontaneous loving affection in the mood of the Brajabasis for Krishna in Vrindavan. This he wanted to give to the world. So for all of us, that is not his own internal purpose necessarily, but that is related to the jivas. And the other one is to distribute or to give the yuga dharma, or the process in this age by which one can attain perfection. And what is the yuga dharma for this age of Kali? You all know it. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalo nastyeva, 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 katiranyata. Chanting the holy names of Krishna, especially the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the Yuga Dharma. Now, of course, we know that because it has manifested through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is a special potency. This Mahamantra has always been chanted forever because it is a transcendental and eternal mantra. It's not something that manifested in 1965 or 66. It's there written in Kali Santaran Upanishad. The Mahamantra is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it's been there forever. It is eternal, it is transcendental, it is non-different from Krishna. But those who are Ram Bhaktas, they will chant Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, thinking exclusively of Sri Ram. Those who are Vaikuntha Bhaktas will chant that, and it will award them liberation to Vaikuntha. Those who are materialists, if they chant that, it will award them all kinds of material rewards. Those who are seeking for merging or liberation from suffering of this world, merging into the effulgence of the Lord, they can also chant this mantra, and it can help them to attain that. And those who are seeking, who are eager for prem, bhakti ras, love and affection for Krishna in Vrindavan, in any of the rasas, they can chant that mantra, and according to their ras, it will nourish and nurture that, and they can attain that. And especially those who are in Rupanuga Guru Varga, or aspiring to take shelter of those who are true Rupanugas, following in the path of Srila Rupa Goswami, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, following in the path, the wake of the moods and the sadhana, the upasana that Rupa Goswami is doing in Sadak Rup, in his form as a bhakta in this world. Those personalities who are going there, when they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they see very clearly, Hare is Srimati Radhika. What is Hare? Srila Prabhupada says, this is the vocative case, when you're calling out, like Radha, when you call out, then it turns to Radhe. Lalita turns to Lalite. Vishakha turns to Vishake. Hara turns to Hare. But also from this, there's also some different meanings. Now, in one case, you can say it is Hari, Krishna, Rama, all names of Krishna. But in case of the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, Hare means she who steals the heart of Krishna. Hare Krishna means together. Hare Krishna, together. Krishna, Krishna. There's separation. Hare Hare, separation. Again, Hare Rama. For those who are aspiring for one-pointed devotion to their Ishtadev, then they won't put their feet in two boats simultaneously. So if you're chanting Radha Krishna, Sita Ram, you won't attain any destination. You need to bring it close into one form. So then when you're chanting Hare Ram, in our Vaishnava scriptures, even Jiva Goswami has written, Srila Prabhupada has put it in his commentaries, our Srila Gurudev has, and all of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. You can see that Hare Krishna Mahamantra pamphlet. Ram, in this case, means Radha Rama iti Ramaha. This is Radha Raman. This is who is giving pleasure to Srimati Radhika, or who Srimati Radhika is giving pleasure to. So our Vaishnava Acharyas have given commentaries on Mahamantra. Our Srila Prabhupada has given us a very simple definition. How that Mahamantra relates to us. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your loving service. So this is the prayer that Mahamantra can award us with. The prayer that we are aspiring for, that we can attain loving service to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. And by taking shelter of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is known as Prem Atma. It has the capacity to awaken Prem, divine love, for Krishna and Srimati Radhika within our Atma. So, now I'm going to enter into this beautiful treasure known as Sri Damodarasṭakam, continuing with the commentary of our Srila Gurudev on verse 4. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va na chanyam brineham vareshadabiha idam teva purnatho gopalavalam sadame manosyavirashtam kimanye Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. What's the time, Sudevi?
I can't see it on the phone. Hold on. 7:11.
7:11. This is probably the first time I'm going to have to do this like this, but I have to take an intermission. So, please forgive me. Maybe, 1 second, I'll just give you some unimpeded darshan of Thakurji for a minute. Hare Krishna. Let's see if we can do this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's okay. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki Jai. Sorry. Devi,
Yes?
can you help me by putting the phone back in place?
Absolutely.
Un momento, per favore. Hare Krishna. They're having unimpeded darshan.
Anyone who's not part of the group is going to be like, what's happening
You need
here?
to keep them.
I know.
Maybe back a little further, no?
Further?
Yeah. Wait, you can't have it above the wire like that. It's okay?
Oh,
It's okay. It's deep.
yeah?
Yeah. Is Thakurji showing them?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sure you're okay?
Yes.
All right. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. No, Thakurji's not fully showing inside.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. That reminded me of the
Okay, so
Sorry.
there's one katha
You
story.
have to go there. Do what you were going to do.
What is the greatest pleasure in this material world? Someone can avoid eating for a week. They can even avoid drinking water for a few days. They can avoid sexual connection for their whole life. They can avoid so many things. You can even hold your breath for a couple minutes. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. And this happened to Pulastya Rishi. Pulastya Rishi, he lived in Kashi. Kashi is, there's a lot of burning ghats there. You might know what a burning ghat is. So anyhow, it was a burnt out, very flat and ugly place. He wanted to make it beautiful. So he went to the Himalayas and he found one very beautiful mountain. This mountain's name was Govardhan. And he wanted to take Govardhan to his ashram. So the larger mountains gave permission, but Govardhan didn't really want to go. So there were some conditions that were made. What were the conditions? 1, you cannot touch me in an impure condition. And if by any chance you put me down anywhere, you cannot take me from there. Pulastya Rishi was thinking, yeah, no problem. I'm a very powerful yogi. Why would I touch you in an impure condition? And why would I need to put you down? Easily I can lift you. So Govardhan said, okay. So by the arrangement of Providence, as Pulastya Rishi was carrying Govardhan back toward his ashram, this happened in one kalpa, means one day of Brahma. He came past this area, Sri Vrindavan Dham. And suddenly, the urge to run to the toilet manifested within him, which was so intense. Srila Gurudev said that he was like really having a difficult time. And he was thinking, okay, I just need to go relieve myself. So he just put Govardhan down. He said, I'll just be right back. He went to go. Gurudev said he was going and going and going and going for like a whole day of Brahma, hundreds, thousands of years, just going and going. Finally, he came back and he said, okay, let's go, chalo. And Govardhan said, no. We had 2 conditions, do you remember? The first condition, if you place me down anywhere, you cannot take me from there. The second one, you cannot touch me in a dirty condition. Well, what have you just been doing for the last 100,000 years? Pulastya Rishi became very angry. He said, come on, let's go. He said, no, I'm not moving from here. And Pulastya Rishi cursed Govardhan. For this impudence I curse you, that you will shrink the width of a mustard seed every day. So we see that Govardhan is actually shrinking every day, a little bit, a little bit. From the time of Krishna, 5,000 years ago, every day, the width of a mustard seed. So imagine how high Govardhan was before. I remember we were with our Srila Gurudev, and he mentioned that I remember when Govardhan was so high that it used to cast a shadow on Mathura. Now, if you would think, 50 years, that's a long. I calculated it was about 1 foot a year. So a meter every 3 years, Govardhan has been shrinking. So 50 years can be quite a difference. Gurudev said, I remember when Govardhan used to cast a shadow on Mathura. And so much has changed since then. So Govardhan is shrinking more and more every day, but we understand that Govardhan was also, why would Govardhan be shrinking? Really in separation from Krishna. This is the only reason. But anyhow, the history is there. Pulastya Rishi placed him down in that location. So in one kalpa, maybe it was this one, because Hanuman also put him down in that place. In another previous history. So everything we can remember, anything can help us to remember the histories, the kathas of our Guru, Sadhus and Shastra. although the position of Navada Bhakti is so elevated. Navada means the 9 processes of bhakti mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, chanting, Smaranam, remembering, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, Archanam, doing puja, Bandhanam, offering prayers, Sakyam, becoming a friend, Atmanivedanam. Did I forget any? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, servitude, Sakyam, friendship, Atmanivedanam. Atmanivedanam means completely surrendering one's own soul. Nivedan means, some people think it means to merge, nivedan, or to deny the existence of, but really it means that my heart is one with yours. I only want your happiness, your pleasure, everything. So this is Atman Nivedam, my everything, my mind, body, heart, and soul surrendered to you. So Srila Gurudev is telling, although the position of Navada Bhakti is so elevated, Sri Satyavrat Muni has no desire for it. Why? Srila Sanatana Goswami reconciles this wonder. He explains that the fruit of one's practice of Navada Bhakti depends upon the nature of one's practice. When the 9 limbs of bhakti are performed according to Vaidhi Marg, the path of rules and regulations, strict adherence to scriptural regulations based on fear, they enable the sadhaka to attain Vaikuntha. So very strictly following the rules and regulations out of fear. Fear that if I don't do this, then I will go to hell. If I perform any sinful activities, then I will suffer. So I'm going to follow what's given in the scripture as a duty, in essence. But it's not out of love, necessarily. But there's duty and fear involved, not pure love. So by following according to the path of Vaidhi Marg, this enables one to attain Vaikuntha. On the other hand, when the same limbs of bhakti are performed in Raga Marg, the path of spontaneous loving affection, Rag, deep attachment from the heart, they enable the sadhaka to reach the abode of Vrindavan, where they attain loving service to Sri Krishna. So there's a big difference between the two. The same principles, Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, chanting, Smaranam, remembering. This is also essential in the path of Ragmarg. So it depends on the intention and the attention that one gives to the process. If one is following those according to the rules and regulations of scripture, out of fear that I might go to hell, or out of a feeling of a dutifulness, that, oh, I have to do this, and maybe even out of concern that others will criticize me or anything like that, but out of following rules and regulations, then these 9 processes can take one to Vaikuntha. But in the process of Raga Marga Bhakti, also we do Shravanam. It's essential to hear the glories of Krishna, the Harikatha of Krishna. Kirtanam, always chanting the names of Krishna. Govinda Damodarasṭakam, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Always glorifying. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari, Govinda Jai Jai. And all Harikatha. This is also essential, and it is a part of Raga Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, Raga Marga Bhakti, the path of spontaneous loving affection. Naturally, one would always remember Smaranam, like we just heard yesterday in the 8th verse of Upadeshamrita. Tannama Rupa Charitari Sukittananu. This is instructions for those in the path of Raga Marg. By Srila Rupa Goswami. Always doing what? Remembering and glorifying Krishna's names, forms, qualities, pastimes. Sukirtan. And then Smrityo means to remember. So Smaranam, Smrityo. It's also there. Ashtakali Alila Smaran. This is part of Rag Bhakti. Raga Marga Bhakti. So all of these processes, when applied spontaneously, they will bring one to Vrindavan. when they're applied out of fear and following rules and regulations of scriptures, and out of duty, then they will bring one to Vaikuntha. So the intention behind what we do, why we do something, really the intention is everything. As we approach Harinam, it's about the intention. As we approach Mahaprasad, it's about the intention. As we approach Sri Guru, it's about the intention. As we approach Thakurji, it's about the intention. Did I already say Mahaprasad? It is our intention. What is our purpose? Why are we doing it? So this needs to be understood internally. And by associating with those persons who have that spontaneous loving devotion for the Lord, by that kind of association, tad anuragi jan anugami, Krishna's near and dear devotees whose hearts are overflowing with love and affection, by associating with those persons, that kind of mood of spontaneous love and devotion, affection for Krishna, and service to Krishna in the mood of the Brajavasis will awaken within our hearts. So it's not just only the intention, but also the attention. What is my association? What will bring me to this? And that's part of actually the proof of greed. If we have a very fixed and strong goal, that aspiration, that desire, that greed will drive us to accept what is favorable for the attainment of that goal and to automatically and naturally avoid what is not favorable to the attainment of that goal. No, it won't help me. Thank you. Dandavat pranam. We don't need to be disrespectful, but if it's not going to assist me in the attainment of my goal, and I'm taking that also, then that is not the proof of genuine greed. Genuine greed brings one to an exclusive, one-pointed, obsessive longing, necessity. This is the root qualification for the attainment of Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhav. Believe it or not, Srila Prabhupada, he writes that he got this term Krishna consciousness from that verse. So International Society for, that can be for anything. But when you put Krishna consciousness there, it's based on this verse in the discussion between Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda, where it is actually saying that the root qualification for Krishna Bhakti Rasa is the intense, greedy desire to have it. He said, I got this term, Krishna consciousness, from that verse. So that verse starts with Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. If Jiva Pavan Prabhu would so kindly post it, I would be so thankful. Thank you, Prabhu. These little tidbits of information are actually quite important. It's like transcendental trivia, but there's nothing trivial about it. When you understand that someone like Srila Prabhupada made an amazing international organization for practicing and disseminating Krishna consciousness, and that the term itself he extracted from the verse defining what is the qualification to get it, that makes a difference. It's quite, you could say, eye-opening. I didn't know that until Srila Gurudev was showing us, and he was saying, look, it's there. He wrote it. Srila Prabhupada wrote it. This is where this term Krishna consciousness has come from. And so it adjusts the perspective. Instead of, it's an international society for coming together and feasting and chanting and being, but there's a requirement there. If you really want love for Krishna, then there must be that intense, greedy desire. And however, wherever, whenever we can get that, one must purchase it without delay. Beg, borrow, or steal. If you don't even have the currency, somehow you need to get it. So, when the same limbs of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and so forth, are applied in the path of Ragamarg,
spontaneous love, they enable the sadhaka to reach the abode of Vrindavan, where they attain loving service to Sri Krishna. It is important to carefully understand the meaning of rag. When Srila Gurudev or any Vaishnava says something like this, it means, attention, it's important to carefully understand the meaning of this word rag. Rag is defined as one's attraction to an object. It is defined as one's attraction to an object. If the soul's inherent capacity to be attracted is directed toward Krishna, if Krishna becomes the exclusive object of that attraction, it is called ragatmika bhakti. So apparently you can have rag or attraction for anything. But if the goal of that, the exclusive point of focus of our attraction is Krishna, then it is called ragatmika bhakti. Srila Rupa Goswami has defined ragatmika bhakti in the following verse. It's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-272. Ishte svarasiki ragaha paramavishtata bhavet tanmayi ya bhavet bhakti satra ragatmikodita. Rag is the unquenchable, loving thirst for the object of one's affection that in turn gives rise to spontaneous and intense absorption in that object. Devotion that is performed with such rag is known as ragatmika bhakti. I'm going to read the translation again. Raga is the unquenchable, loving thirst for the object of one's affection that in turn gives rise to spontaneous and intense absorption in that object. Devotion that is performed with such rag is known as ragatmika bhakti. So Srila Gurudev continues to speak about what that rag or ragatmika bhakti is. Spontaneous, intense absorption in the object of one's love is referred to as rag. And when Krishna bhakti reaches this state of intense attachment, it is called ragatmika bhakti. Thus, in brief, ragatmika bhakti is the loving thirst for Sri Krishna. The loving thirst for Sri Krishna. The topmost example of ragatmika bhakti is found in the deeply loving emotions that the Brajavasis feel for Sri Krishna. And devotion that is aimed at attaining this stage of ragatmika bhakti is called raganuga bhakti. Bhakti following in the wake of ragatmika bhakti. So those eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan who have this spontaneous love and affection for Krishna, deep, unquenchable, loving thirst for Krishna, they are known as ragatmika. In all of the rasas in Vrindavan, they are the eternal associates of Krishna. And those who follow in the wake of their moods of love and affection for Krishna, those who are properly and purely following, that is raganuga bhakti, because they're following in the wake of those who have that rag, with an intense, unquenchable thirst to also develop and awaken that rag, that deep attachment. So anuga means follower, under the guidance of. So those who are following the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan, they would be known as raganuga bhaktas, because they are following the path of raganuga bhakti. Since the devotion of one following the Vaidhi Marg is dependent on the dictation of rules and regulations, it is weak. Like Krishna says in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the devotion made weak or feeble, which is bound by rules and regulations, or following rules and regulations based on fear, these prayers don't attract my heart. That devotion does not attract my heart. Because there's some element of force. It's like you can't really force love. But if someone is going along with those motions, it's kind of like, in a sense, an arranged marriage where you kind of accept it because everyone says you have to, but you're not feeling anything. So is there really love there? It's kind of an acceptance and a duty. But this doesn't really attract Krishna's heart. It doesn't attract his attention, really. But those who are spontaneously flowing toward him with love and affection, the heart is moving automatically without any rules and regulations binding it. There's still rules and regulations there, but this love will find a way. If the rule and regulation says no, the love will find a way around it. Like any river flowing to the ocean. You can dam it up. You can do so many things. Eventually, it will find a way. It will hit a rock and move to the left, turn to the right, and keep going and seek its goal, which is to go back to its source. Its nature is spontaneous like that. Water seeks water, the ocean. Naturally, it's always seeking its source. So Ragatmika Bhakti, or Raganuga Bhakti, has this spontaneous nature to it. Whereas the Vaidhi Bhakti, it has this, the weakness, the feebleness of being strictured, means rules and regulations, and because I have to, out of duty and out of fear that if I don't, then I'll be in trouble for it. It's not really pure love. And because of that, Krishna's not so attracted to it. But those who have pure love, like the Brajavasis, even if they chastise him, even if they call him names, even if they say, you dance for a laddu, or they say, I don't want to see you, because their internal mood is completely free-flowing and spontaneous, only really for Krishna. This creates within Krishna an intense, greedy eagerness to also reciprocate. He cannot help himself. Like what Sudevi told yesterday morning, in the beginning of the class, Man Mana Bhav. Srila Gurudev, he said, Krishna may or may not want to see someone, but if someone is intensely eager and greedy to see him, he will want to see them first and foremost. So that day when Krishna set out, he wanted to see that gopi first and foremost, because from her childhood, she had developed this intense, greedy desire and eagerness to see Krishna. Finally, she was able to come to Vrindavan. She was married in Vrindavan, and her only mood was, I want to see Krishna. So her duty was here, but her spontaneity was there. This is Raga Bhakti, or Raganuga Bhakti. Her spontaneity was toward Krishna, and her duty was to her family and the marriage in Vrindavan, but her only desire was to see Krishna. She already had developed some attraction, and that attraction became greater and greater as she grew. And so Krishna, feeling that intense desire from her, wanted first and foremost to see her. And he showed her his most beautiful and charming form, as you heard yesterday. So, since the devotion of one following the Vaidhi Marg is dependent on the dictation of rules and regulations, it is weak. On the other hand, Raganuga Bhakti is entirely independent, and therefore it is powerful by nature. Independent means they cannot help themselves. Even in this material world, we have the concept of falling in love, having the crush. That one glance in your heart, finished, you can't think of anything else. You're just 24 hours a day, just boom, like that. Of course, everything in this material world comes to an end. And sooner or later, sooner generally these days, it manifests like that. Disdain, dislike, and all like that. Because everything of the material world has a temporary nature, but it has its source in transcendence. And in this world, it is pervertedly reflected. So everything in the transcendental realm is eternal and ever increasing, and everything in the material world is temporary and ever decreasing by its nature. It has its temporary nature, ups and downs, cyclical. It's like this. It's just the nature of this material world. But anyhow, our scriptures say that same kind of love that one has and the attachments that they have for things of this world, when applied to sadhus, when applied to the process of bhakti, this opens wide the doors to perfection. And even Srila Rupa Goswami Pad in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is giving an example that just as a young housewife is entertaining her thoughts of her beloved outside of the household, 24 hours a day absorption, what does she do? Everything at home is even better. Everything is done perfectly, so that no one can detect the nature of her heart, of her mind. Everything is done so nicely. So in the same way, as bhaktas in this world, or as aspiring devotees, sadhakas, maybe we have to be in the world, but our mind and heart should be fully absorbed in Krishna. Mahaprabhu told this to Raghunath Das Goswami. Don't be like a madman. You should be like normal in the world, so that no one can detect the nature of your heart and mind. Go back home and be like normal, but within your heart, within your mind, always love and serve Krishna. Keep your absorption there. So this is also the training for the mood of the gopis. They also have to be at home, and they're doing so many household duties. They're churning yogurt, making butter, they're cooking, they're cleaning, sometimes massaging their husband's feet, sometimes doing so many things, going to the Jamuna to collect water. So many different things they're doing, making cow dung patties and cooking and cleaning, whatever. So many things. But their absorption is constantly only on Krishna. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Always remembering Krishna, thinking about his pastimes. Full absorption. But they cannot speak openly to everyone. With each other, they might be able to say something, even by their eyes. But everyone else, they cannot know or understand. Husband, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, all the relatives or anything, no one can know what's going on inside. So, Vacho Begam. Control the urge to speak. But their heart is telling everything to Krishna. And he is experiencing what their heart is telling. This is Ragatmika Bhakti, spontaneous love and devotion for Krishna. And those aspiring to attain that will take shelter of those personalities in the wake of their love and affection. Then, even externally, it might appear to be like a Vaidhi Bhakti. Right? The same external, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyamatma Nivedanam. It might look the same externally, but the internal intention is very different. So intention is everything. That is one of the greatest gifts that I feel I've received from our Srila Gurudev, that it's all about the mood and the intention, ultimately. It's not that we don't do the external things, but what is our mood and intention within it or behind it? That is so essential and important to understand. So, on the other hand, Raganuga Bhakti is entirely independent, and therefore it is powerful by nature. in this connection. Once upon a time, Shyamarani Didi asked Srila Gurudev a question. Sudevi, can you tell this?
Well, I don't know what you're going to say.
About his chanting mantras.
I was listening to a Gurudev's darshans a long time ago, in one of the tapes. Srila Gurudev is with Shamarani Didi, Jadurani, for those who know her as Jadurani. And she said, I heard that when you chant your mantra, sometimes you chant Gopal mantra 108 times. And Gurudev started laughing and he said, Who told this? Who? And she said, well, I thought you're only allowed to chant them for a certain amount of times during the day and only a few times per day. A few mantras. And Gurudev said, oh, if you were madly in love and somebody came to you and told you, you can only think about your beloved at certain times of the day and then only for a few minutes of the day, could you do it? So Gurudev started laughing and it was very sweet. Gurudev was showing that this mood, it's not held within our little kind of boxes that we think should be a certain way. If the heart is running, then you should let it run toward Krishna, but with some boundaries, means with guidance and sadhu sangha to help us to not become crazy and sahajas.
How was that? Could you do it? So beautiful. If anyone is in love and you said to that person, you can't think of the person that you're obsessed with. It doesn't even make sense. If you've ever had a crush on somebody or been in love, even in this material world, and someone said you can only think about them at 6 in the morning for 5 minutes, at midday for 5 minutes, and in the evening at 6 p.m. for 5 minutes.
More like 15.
No, but those particular mantras.
Particular mantras.
Yeah. Could you do it?
No way.
You go to sleep thinking about them. You wake up thinking about them. When you're brushing your teeth, you're thinking about them. When you're eating, you're thinking about them.
I know people who have puppies and are like that. What to speak of falling in love.
You all know who you are. Constantly thinking about the welfare of your puppies. So, here Srila Gurudev is saying, Raga Nuga Bhakti is entirely independent and therefore it is powerful by nature. Because it can't be controlled. You can't put a restriction on spontaneous love. You can put an external restriction, but it can't stop the heart. Gurudev said it's the same thing with greed. You can't say who's qualified or who's unqualified for greed. Even if you are the most unqualified person, and there's not a chance in the world that you might be able to marry the Princess of Wales, Gurudev used to say. There's not a chance in the world. You don't have the qualification, the education, the looks, the this, the that, anything. But still, if that desire is in your heart, no one can tell you that you can't have that desire. It's there, and the greed can be there. That's spontaneous. In the same way with Raganuga Bhakti, it's entirely independent, and because of that, it's independent of the strictures, of the rules and regulations of scriptures. It's flowing spontaneously. Because of that, it's so powerful. Nothing can hold it back. The topmost example of anurag, incessant. Now, we were just speaking about rag, now anurag. Incessant, deep, loving attachment for Sri Krishna only exists in the hearts of the Brajavasis. The topmost example of that only exists in the hearts of the Brajavasis. And that means the real, true Brajavasis. Those persons whose hearts are overflowing with divine love and affection for Krishna. And when Gurudev is saying Brajavasis, he's referring to the Ragatmika Jan, the eternal associates of Krishna. Not just someone who's born here in the locale who says, I am Brajavasi, give me money. Or find me a wife in America or anything like that. That's not the Brajabasi that Srila Gurudev is referring to. We need to make this very clear, because a lot of people say, I am Brajabasi. Oh, now you've lived in Vrindavan so long, you're a Brajabasi. But real Brajabasi, Vishuddha Brajabasi, means they only have one point of attention. Exclusive, loving affection, spontaneous flowing without cessation, ever. No cessation, always flowing to Krishna. He is their exclusive object of love and affection. This mood of the Brajabasis, the true Brajabasis, such a great soul is very, very, very rare. I believe it's in one of the, maybe Guru Gita by Lord Shiva. And he's speaking about this. Like the verse that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, out of thousands among men, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, Kashchid Yatiti Siddhaya. There's another one too. How Krishna is going deeper and deeper. Out of thousands of those, hardly one knows me in truth. So Lord Shiva is telling, out of millions who attain to liberation, hardly one will go to Vaikuntha. Out of millions who might go to Vaikuntha, hardly one will go to Ayodhya. Like this he's going, and then out of millions and millions and millions, hardly one you will find will aspire or go to Vrindavan. I don't know the exact verse, but if anyone does, I would really appreciate if you could share it here, because I want to learn that. So it's very deep and esoteric conception. I remember when Srila Gurudev was also telling this, and at a certain point we were feeling like, oh my God, this is like practically impossible. How can we attain that? And Gurudev then was laughing. He would laugh and he was bouncing, and he said, but don't be hopeless. Why should we not be hopeless? Because one of those personalities, Ragatmika Jan, from there has come here into our lives, accepted us as their own, and promised us they will take us to that perfection. So how can we be hopeless? There's only hopefulness all around. What an amazing, amazing opportunity we have been gifted with. So, the topmost example of Anurag only exists in the hearts of the Brajabasis. Uh-oh.
It's going.
No, I thought it said interrupted, but it was just Devaki's has to go. Figure. The devotee should meditate on the associates of his beloved Lord, who have the same mood for which he aspires. The same mood for which one aspires. How do we know what to aspire for? Only when coming into contact with Sri Guru, that person who is a knower of all truth, who understands themselves, who is self-realized, God-realized, and who is already practically engaged in their loving divine relationship with Krishna, because they know that truth, the supreme absolute truth, Advait Gyan Tattva, Braje Brajendrananda, Krishna in Vrindavan. They also can see the nature of our Atma. What is the particular nature of my soul? I can't see it from the outside. I think I'm this body. I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, hair's a little whiter, patchy now. Patches of white and dark. Oh, it used to be darker. I used to have a cool white streak now. We look at the mirror and we think, I am this body. I'm Kishori Mohan. My wife is Sudevi. I live here. This is my family. That's not my family. These are my friends. I was wondering. All of these different bodily conceptions based on I and mine. It's the nature of the conditioned state in this material world. But the pure devotee, who is eternally associated with Krishna, looks beyond all of that. They can see our intrinsic, inherent, eternal nature, just as any expert farmer knows the nature of any particular seed. Oh, that's an apple seed. He knows what an apple seed is, and he can differentiate that from an orange seed. Most of us can do that as well. And a peach seed, and a mango seed. And they can see the potential inside The potential. What is the potential of that seed? That apple seed will never turn into an orange tree. And the mango seed will never turn into a peach tree. It's what it is. That is its inherent, intrinsic nature, in potential. So Sri Guru can recognize and then direct us accordingly. Don't waste your time going in this direction. It's not going to happen. It's just not for you. Srila Gurudev also did that with so many of us. He warned us. He told some devotees, we were sitting there, it was myself and Sudevi and 2 other devotees. We were in Idaho. And we were in the den where the piano was. It was just a small little room, and we were having a little darshan with Gurudev. And immediately upon meeting that one devotee, whose house it was, Srila Gurudev told her, straight up, oh, you are not a Krishna Bhakta, you are Ram Bhakta. And when he initiated her, he gave her the name Janaki, which is a name for Sita. And then he installed, I know because we were there leading the kirtan, he installed in her house Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And I was thinking, well, Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman are there, but I want to be one pointed to Krishna, so I was chanting Hare Krishna. And then Gurudev turned and looked at me, and he's like, we're installing Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. You chant, what is it? Jai Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Jai Jai Patita Pavana Sita Ram, Jai Jai Lakshman, Jai Hanuman. He said, Jai Jai Lakshman, Jai Hanuman, like that. And so we were sitting there in this house with Gurudev at his feet. And he looked at them. He said, you should be very careful. Krishna is so sweet, so charming, so wonderful, so beautiful. And it is as if he was made, born for stealing. If he sees anything beautiful, sweet, or soft, immediately he will want to take it. He will want to steal it. So you should be very careful. If you ever see any murti or deity of Krishna, any picture of Krishna, you should never address him as Krishna. He told them. You should say, Hey Ram, you have appeared in such a beautiful form as Krishna. Jai Ram, Jai Ram. So he gave them their sadhana, their practice to attain their perfection, recognizing the intrinsic nature of their relationship with their Ishtadev. And then he looked at us and he said, oh, and you should be very careful. Ram is so powerful, so strong, so beautiful, so handsome and heroic. Immediately your hearts will want to run to him. So if you ever see any murti, any picture of Ram, you should never address him as Ram. You should say, oh Krishna, you have appeared in such a beautiful form as Ram. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna. This is how he was teaching us how to be one-pointed toward our potential, specific, eternal, worshipful Lord, Ishtadev. So Sri Guru can recognize and can direct us accordingly. He can direct us accordingly. As any farmer knows how to plant a seed, how to nourish that seed, and how to grow it to its full potential. So this has been discussed within Sri Gurudev and the Swarup of the Jiva in our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj's biography, Acharya Kishori, given by our Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. It's in one of the later chapters of that book, but there's a discussion among the topmost senior disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, wherein Srila Gurudev said you cannot imagine the level of their knowledge and their qualification. And they unanimously, with all examples from Shastra and everything, gave this conclusion, this understanding. And our Srila Prabhupada also represented this understanding in his purports and in his books and teachings. And our Gurudev made it a point to preach this conception far and wide, that Guru does not give you your relationship to Krishna. Never and never, he said, Guru recognizes and awakens what is already within us, our own potential. He awakens that. So by the association, by that sadhu sangha, by guru sangha, Vaishnava sangha, what is already inside awakens and begins to grow to its full potential. Ooh.
Are you reading what he says about your hair?
Uh-oh, 1 second. I'm just reading the first one.
Don't take too long, look at the time.
Okay. As I saw you for the first time, I thought, what a vain person bleaching this white strand. And then I learned that it is natural and not handmade. I looked back at some pictures and I thought, my God, it is so pronounced. I didn't even realize it. Sudevi didn't even notice it. We just got so used to it. But it actually manifested. It happened when I was in Vrindavan Gurukul. I was 11 years old. And once a month, we would all get shaved up. And once I got shaved up, and the hair that was growing out was no longer black. In that point, you can still see this patch. It was like that. I looked in the mirror and I thought, wow, that's weird. I'm only 11 and I've got 50-cent piece patch of white coming out the front. So I was 11 years old when it happened. And what to do? So that's what happened. But you did get the vein part right. But not because of the white. That just happened naturally. But the other part, yeah. And I pray to all of you to please pray for me that my tendency for Kanaka Kamani and Pratishta will be drastically reduced and eventually removed so that I can endeavor on the path of loving devotion under the guidance of Sri Guru. So, Sri Guru can recognize the nature of our Atma and direct us accordingly. So, here it says, the devotee should meditate on the associates of his beloved Lord, who have the same mood for which he aspires. So what is my aspiration? It's according to the nature of my soul. It's not just what I like or what I want. Oh yeah, they're doing that, so I like it, so I'm going to go for that. That's based on what I like. But what is the nature of my soul? That's something different, maybe. Maybe I like Hanuman because he's strong and he can fly through the air, so I'm going to aspire in that direction. But is that for me or for Krishna? Right? We might follow the path of our own desires, and it's not necessarily wrong in the beginning, but it will have to be adjusted or refined, like Srila Gurudev adjusted and refined Sudevi's approach. We've told this so many times before, and she told it too, but when she first came to him, she had been aspiring to be a queen in Dwarka. And when he first... Do you want to tell it, Sudevi?
No, go ahead.
When he was giving her initiation, he said, this mood with Krishna, husband and wife, for you it will never be. And then began telling her about the mood of the Rupanugas and their mood of loving service to Radha and Krishna. And so basically, he just turned the knob, focused that microscope properly. She was following the path of thinking, oh, I want to be the queen of Krishna. And it was reasonable. We lived in New Dwarka. Rukmini and Dwarkadish were there. Krishna has 16,108 palaces. He can add another. And so much beautiful enjoyment and luxury can be had in such a situation. But Srila Gurudev said, for you it won't be. In other words, don't bother trying in that direction. It's not what your soul is meant for. So, following in the wake of and associating with those persons, like-minded. What is that? Sajatiya. Svajatiya. Whose practice and whose nature is like the nature of my soul, I will associate with those persons who can nourish me to my perfection. Who have the same mood for which he aspires. So my aspiration, what do I know? How do I know what my aspiration should be? Sri Guru directs me according to his perfect vision or her perfect vision. They see, they are Tattvadarshis, knowers and seers of the truth. Then they can direct us. So according to that, then we associate with and follow those persons who have that mood which can nourish what my goal or aspiration is. Let me just finish this small paragraph. Furthermore, he should remain absorbed in hearing, chanting, and remembering the names and pastimes of Sri Krishna in Braja that are conducive to his own particular mood. So there are many different moods, rasas in Vrindavan. What will help me to increase my thirst, my greed for the attainment of the particular mood which is inherent within my soul and potential? So the main focus will be that. The main focus. But of course it does not deny or defy the ability or capacity to relish Krishna's pastimes in other rasas, as we have been through Sri Damodarasṭakam, Balagopal. Balagopal is not necessarily the Krishna of the gopis, but the gopis always speak about Krishna's childhood pastimes. If you're in love with somebody, you speak about everything about that person. So they contain within themselves the perfection of all other rasas. So here he's saying, chanting and remembering, absorbing oneself in hearing the names and pastimes of Sri Krishna in Braj that are conducive to his own particular mood. Each devotee should reside in Braj Mandala, following the associate who shares his own favored mood in the manner just described. Now remember what I mentioned about favored. Is it favored based on my desire, what I like or what I don't like? Oh, coward boys, they get to go out and play with Krishna. I don't know about gopis. I want to play. I want to enjoy. Is it based on my desire for enjoyment, or is it based on my own intrinsic inherent soul's potential and nature to love and serve Krishna?
That last question, it's good.
Oh, I didn't see it. It's too late? Oh, can I clarify which mood Mirabai is in, as far as we know? Ooh. Okay. Our Guru Varga, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, have actually discussed this because Mira had so much spontaneous attraction and affection toward Krishna. But there's a specific about Vrindavan. Something is required to actually enter into Vrindavan. Lakshmi Devi herself is showing the process. She's taking shelter of Srimati Radhika in Shrivan, Belvan, to be able to come to the mood that is proper so that she can enter into the Rasalila pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. Where Mira has not taken shelter of Srimati Radhika, although she is focusing on Braja pastimes. Mere to Girid Hari Gopal, Dusra na koi, always saying Girid Hari Nagara, like this. So, Mira's position, although it appears that she's aspiring for Vrindavan because she's not taking the process of taking shelter of Srimati Radhika to enter, Srila Gurudev actually told us that it may be that she has become a maidservant of the queens in Dwarka. He told us this in Singapore. We were like, whoa. Her mood is appreciated and her dedication is honored. But there are certain specifics. According to the rules, there are rules within Rag, and especially Vrindavan. No, it's called rules of rasa. There's rasa vichar. In order to be able to enter into Vrindavan, one must have permission.
in the right way. And so our Guru Varga have seen her prayers, her moods, and everything. And they have determined that something is lacking within them. Something is lacking there in terms of the mood to enter into Brajabhav proper. For example, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came to Vrindavan, and some of his disciples were mentioning about, the pure devotees, and he said, where? I have not seen any. I have not seen any. Show me where you see. It's not so common. It's not so common. Very, very rare. Very rare to find any real, true, pure Brajabasi devotee. So we were singing, what was it? In Singapore. Ali Mahilage Vrindavan Niko. It's a bhajan we all love. Oh, my friend, I love Vrindavan so much. And even there, she says, Kunjana Kunjana Pirata Radhika, Shabda Sunata Muraliko. Srimati Radhika is wandering from Kunj to Kunj, having heard, attracted by the flute song of Krishna. So she mentions also, and also mentioned Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in some place. Srila Gurudev said, for the general public, we may sing these bhajans for attracting people to hear about the essential teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. He said, but in general for us, we should focus on the bhajans of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. So, some of our acharyas have had some strong words to say. I have read some of these things from time to time. If one is not following properly Tishtan Brajetal Anuragi Jananugami, under the guidance of a Braja Rasik Ragatmika associate of the Lord, of Krishna in Vrindavan, if they're not actually following that process, then according to Rasa Shastra, you won't attain that desired result. So although there is a raga, spontaneity, still it manifests certain symptoms which can be acknowledged and seen by those who are truly sincere on that path. And those who are there can recognize what something is and what something is not. I have to guard my words carefully. If one is following the path of their own mind and heart without reference to Shastra, without being in Sampradaya Vihinaye, then it creates actually an unnecessary disturbance in society. Now you can say, well, she's not creating a disturbance in society. But what disturbance does it create? The example. The example will be that so many will follow that path of spontaneity without any reference to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. In other words, I don't need scripture, I don't need Guru, I don't need Sadhu Sangha. Everything is right here. And that, in itself, that mood is, in essence, mundane. Because what is the real nature of all of the pure devotees? They're always seeking the association of pure devotees and their guidance. So if I don't need anything else, all I have is, it's all right here. That spontaneity has a mundane tinge to it. And that in itself can be called prakrit. It's mundane. And because of the spontaneity of it, spontaneity means sahajya. So from the prakrit, the mundane, and the spontaneity, then you pull it together and it is called prakrita sahajya. And you will find in Vrindavan today thousands and thousands of persons who follow the path created by their own mind and their own feelings without reference to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And millions of people who are visiting also who do the same thing. And what you will find is thousands and millions come and they're being led by others and they're saying Radhe Radhe Shyam Milade Radhe Radhe. And they think that's the thing. That's what you're supposed to say. That's what you're supposed to do. I was just doing Parikrama on Ekadashi the other day. And there was somebody with a bunch of kids, 50 kids. And the teacher, the leader was like, Radhe Radhe. And they were like, Shyam Radhe. Like that. The whole time walking. They were all screaming it. But that mood is not the proper mood of approaching Vrindavan or Srimati Radhika. Radhe Radhe. Give me a meeting with Shyam. Arrange my meeting with Krishna. This is not the proper mood to approach Srimati Radhika. And so it's spontaneous, it's attractive, it's fun, but it's wrong. Even though the name of Radhe is there and the name of Shyam is there, the bhav, the mood, is not correct. It is, in essence, ras abhas.
In the Mira temple here, she's next to Krishna with Radhika.
In essence, it is rasabhas. It is incompatible with the natural flow of the rasa. It creates a disturbance to that mood. So in that rasabhasa, the incompatible disturbance to the natural flow of rasa, they will say that, arrange my meeting with Shyam. But if we understand that Radhika is Vrindavaneshwari, she is the queen of Vrindavan, and she is so great, this is Prabhupada's words, that even Krishna cannot calculate how great she is. Even Krishna. Then we don't order her, arrange my meeting with Shyam. Especially coming to Vrindavan, we take a subservient mood to her. Instead, we pray to Krishna. Shyama Sundar Shikanda Shekara Smeraha Samurli Manohara Radhikara Sikamang Kripanidhe Svapriya Charana Kinkarinkaru. O Shyama Sundar Krishna, if you can give me anything, then I pray to you. If you can give me anything, make me a maidservant, a kinkari, at the feet of your dear most beloved Srimati Radhika. So instead of saying Radhe Radhe Shyam Milade, we can say Shyam Shyam Radhadasyam De. Or arrange my meeting with Radhadasyam. Make me a maidservant at the feet of Srimati Radhika. Like this. That will be in the proper mood or the proper flow. So, okay, Jiva Pavan Prabhu posted something. Srila Prabhupada and Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said she is always pictured alone with Krishna or praying directly. And this is not our mood. We always go through a ragatmika devotee. Right. And even in her temple, there's a temple just as you're going toward Nidhuban. Her Giridhari is there. She's always singing to Giridhari. And she's on one side and Radhika is on the other side. So, still all give her honor and respect, but there's some speciality there. So Gurudev said it may be, because she went without Srimati Radhika, it may be that she became like a maidservant of the queens in Dwarka. So how essential is it to follow the process? As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us, Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur, das, das, anudas. Or in our case, it would be dasi, dasi, anudasi. Gopi bhaktu padakamalayur. Means we follow the process of being the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the beloved of the gopis. So, Marcus, it is just contradictive in the meaning of harmony and acceptance. In this meaning, everything must be accommodated. When there is any mood without Guru and Shastra, then they are not seen as accommodated in that mood and in the whole. Das, das, anudas. Dasi, dasi, anudasi. Srila Gurudev spoke about this concept in, I believe it was the Pinnacle of Devotion, or maybe Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam. I will research it. So, Meera has shown dedication in service to Krishna, and even to become a maidservant of the queens in Dwarka in Krishna, queens in Dwarka of Krishna. This is not a small position. This is also very high. She was a devotee. So we should be very careful not to criticize devotees, but we should also understand what devotion is favorable for the awakening and the attainment of the particular mood that we are aspiring for. This is essential for us. And then we can see, okay, this is one thing, this is another thing, this is another thing. Discrimination is necessary if we want to move on the path of one-pointed, exclusive bhakti toward our particular Ishtadev. Then we will associate with those personalities who have that particular mood, who can nourish that particular mood in our heart, and who can help us to focus, to refine, and to attain that particular goal. So we will accept into our lives those conceptions, those moods, that association, those prayers, those mantras, those activities which will increase our thirst for attainment of that goal. And that will be known as Raga Nuga Bhakti. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. I don't understand that last statement by Anjali. Maybe you can re-express that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Very good, Satya Govinda. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Guru Guru ki jai, Tadik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari ji ki jai, Radha Rama ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hari Rama Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Govinda Nam Naramadeti, Govinda Nam Naramadeti, Govinda Nam Naramadeti, Govinda Nam Naramadeti. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Rama ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Shyam Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity for remembering and discussing the beautiful teachings of our Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga. Also, I'd like to express to you our indebtedness that you are daily engaging us in our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandava Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam,
Radhe
dear
Radhe,
Vaishnavas.
Radha Vinu Bihari Ju
Ki
ki
jai.
jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki jai.
jai.